Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, again, wherever this video may find you. And I am here kind of in a redemption kind of video. A year ago, I, Gavin, drove this very MK5 R32. And when we published it, well, I kind of took a big Stevie poo, like all over the thing. It wasn't white anymore, it was brown. It was like a brown wrap. The MK5 deserved some redemption. I kind of honed in and focused in on one particular thing with this car, which was the DSG. And I feel like I wasn't exactly fair, and the rest of you also agreed that I wasn't exactly fair to this car. So we're here on the backside of East Canyon. It's a lovely day. The snow is just starting to melt. White car, white environment. I don't know. It could be a theme. But let's see if the MK5 R32 on the right road can be redeemed. We got a bit of straight road ahead of us. I'm going to turn traction control off. It's already off. I'm putting it in sport mode, already in sport mode. All the way down on the brake. 3,000 RPM. Into the red line, shifting at 7K. So hopefully, if you're watching this, you've probably already seen my video on this car before. I'm gonna take the blame myself. I'm not gonna blame the car as much. I just kind of want to reiterate, or not reiterate, I want to iterate new feelings and new perspectives. Back when I drove this car a year ago, the car did behave a little inconsistently in the shifting from the dual clutch. Part of it, I think, was the kind of driving we were doing. I think the road was not the right road, and we choose the Antelope Island Loop Road in the wintertime, or at least early spring, because it's one of the more scenic and dynamic roads that is open at that time. Here, I'm on the backside of East Canyon, and it's probably the road that we should have done in the first place. I'm not going over stats and figures. This is a 3.2 VR6 though, and it does have the 6-speed dual clutch. And I think part of the problem too was it was in context of along with the MK4 R32. This car, and I still feel this way, I don't think is as special as the MK4. It has different seats. You have the 6-speed manual. That's actually a pretty good manual, might I add. To the paddles, this is responsive. It is chuckable. We have some better corners on this road for chucking. And we have that throaty VR6. It's not great because it revs high. It's just great because it sounds great all the time. Listen to this. Wow. It's a great day. The car's indicating 43 degrees outside, which is just warm enough for me to feel like I can actually get into it with the tires. The throttle is responsive with it being a naturally aspirated motor and with it being a VR6. If you are playing with the throttle mid-corner, it kind of wants to jump out of its skin a little bit and will start to throw some understeering tendencies. Not from like a lack of traction perspective, but I can feel the front end, like where the lump of the weight of the car is and the engine, to start going in a direction that I'm not particularly wanting to go. I just want to wrap this motor out more and more. I want to drive just a tunnel road, just pure tunnel. That's really what this car is for. It's a sound maker. I wouldn't call it a panty dropper, but it's definitely a sound maker. Yeah, you kind of have to hold on a bit. The car, like, will start to dance. You just have to be really specific about the kind of dancing that you're doing. We have to have a whole lot of intent when it comes to giving this car commands. It's not like the craziest dynamic road, but it's just enough of a flow where you can start to get the idea of how a car drives. Some places it actually does excel pretty well. And there are other times where it's just like, whatever. This car, to me, seems more like it's about the quick, kinks or the quick dog legs. I have to go around this rock. Really rocky here in East Canyon. And I really hope that the mic picks me up because our friend Carson has an aftermarket exhaust on here, which does sound the absolute kitty's titties. While also, it's loud. He does have inserts for the exhaust, funny enough. And for the purposes of this review, we took them out because, like, you know, why not? Would I want one on my daily? No. This is a bit dronier and a bit louder than my Fiesta ST, which by now you probably have seen that video, and if not, feel free to click the little banner there. It can get some lift-off rotation. It can dance. The dual clutch is responsive enough. It hasn't really fumbled inconsistently today like it did before when we were on Antelope Island. This car has 152,000 miles on it right now. And, sorry Carson, this one kind of does feel its age a bit. And this is his daily driver, funny enough, over his Mark IV, which I understand with it being, you know, dual clutch. And I will still submit this car doesn't feel as special as the Mark IV. And it's part of the seats, it's part of the feeling of that 6-speed that's in the Mark IV. This, to me, feels more like a VR6 swap GTI than it does like its own product. If someone bought one, would I give them shit? No, I think it's a perfectly fine car. Would I prefer it over my Fiesta ST? Oh God, no. Even on a day like today where it's sunny, with some intermittent clouds and a beautifully snow-covered landscape, this is a perfectly fine car just to, you know, put it in drive and just kind of go through the motions of the road. It's perfectly good at doing that. And in drive, put your foot down, it kicks down some gears, and you start to take off. The car does hide some speed from you, though. I will be honest. Should you buy one? Maybe you've already owned a Mark IV and you want something that is more daily friendly. Sure, go ahead. Mark 5 R32. If you've only owned GTIs, let's say, or Golf Rs, and you want something that's a little less refined, if you've owned, say, like a Mark 6 Golf R or a Mark 6 GTI, and you know, a Mark 5 R32 has been your dream car, you've never driven one, and you know, you decide to go after that because you want a different change of pace in your life, God bless. So I'm looking forward to doing more. I'm grateful and I'm thankful for the owner Carson of both this car and that red Mark IV R32 that we had on camera before. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And yeah, I'm happy to say that I've been wrong about the Mark V R32. It's a fun car, especially when you get it on the right road. I totally understand why people appreciate these cars. I still prefer the Mark IV. I think I'll always prefer the Mark IV over the Mark V. But I feel like I'm glad I understand this car a little better now. I do feel like it was misunderstood by myself and maybe by some other people as well. Mark IV over Mark V though, 100%.